Alrighty, so it is week 12 of the NFL season and it is flying by. For you today, I have my top 5 DST streaming options, one of which is pretty spicy. Hopefully, you guys are able to stick around till the end. Check out the spicy option. Could be one of the best ones on the week, or it could be one of the worst, which is why it is called spicy. The first matchup that I am looking at, the first DST that I am looking to stream in week 12 is the Baltimore Ravens going up against the New York Jets. Through the past 3 weeks, the Baltimore Ravens are top 10 in points allowed per game. Their defense is taken kind of like a 180. Lamar Jackson back out there equals the offense can actually move the football effectively. This ends up setting it up where Derrick Henry's more effective, the offense scoring more points, and that means the defense has an easier time. Number one, they are getting more breaks between the times that they are out there. Number two, they have more leads in games again, which means that they are able to pin their ears back just a little bit more. I kind of did the wrong way, but pin their ears back a little bit more and get after the quarterback and trying to create some pressures and trying to take away the football more often. And, end up leading to more 3-and-outs, shorter drives with less points for opposing offenses. They are playing against the Jets, like I already mentioned. Unfortunately, Justin Fields has been benched, but this could also work out as a positive as well. Tyrod Taylor is going to be out there, and at this point in time, it's basically Garrett Wilson when he ends up playing. Don't know if he's going to play in week 12. Mason Taylor, who's okay enough, and Adonai Mitchell, who can't catch the football apparently. And they also obviously have Breece Hall for the running game. But this offense as a whole for the Jets is kind of in shambles. It's not looking good. Justin Fields is benched. This team is absolutely horrible. Their record's horrible. The defense isn't that great. It's not performing at the same level as last year. It's performing even worse this year than last year, and even worse than in 2023. The whole team is kind of just blowing up right now. I do think the Ravens are going to get out to a pretty comfortable lead in this game. They're going to put Tyrod Taylor in a blender. He's going to have to pass the ball more times than he's probably passed in the last 5 seasons. This game will probably end up setting up where the Jets and Tyrod Taylor are going to be in a blender. They're probably going to turn the football over a lot, whether that's fumbles, interceptions. It's going to set up where they're going to be able to stop the run because they're not going to be able to run that effectively. And Baltimore's been decent enough at stopping it in the past few weeks as well. But they're going to eliminate the run. They're going to be ahead by too much, which means a lot of passing. I think the secondary for the Ravens is probably where their big strength is. So I do think there's a big opportunity for the Ravens defense to pop off. Maybe not be the highest of scoring DSTs, but be a pretty good DST matchup this week to stream for week 12. The next DST I'm looking to stream is the Green Bay Packers going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Packers defense is kind of like Micah Parsons is fantastic. He's looking pretty good out there. He is getting sacks, creating pressures. He looks pretty good the past handful of weeks. The good news for the Packers is the Vikings have not looked that great on offense. JJ McCarthy has been extremely limited. There's not been this crazy breakout, year 2. It's really his rookie season, but year 2 in the actual NFL, year 1 of actually playing all these games, he hasn't looked that great. The Vikings offense has been pretty poor. The run game really hasn't been that effective. Obviously, you still have Justin Jefferson, but he's being limited to some extent because of how bad JJ McCarthy has been and how inefficient he's been able to spread the football around. Matt LaFleur and this Packers team need to win this game. They need to keep the balance of power in check for the NFC North. They need to beat down this Vikings team that's really not that great on offense. They have a good defense, which means they should be able to limit the Packers offense somewhat as well. I do think all of these factors end up culminating in a pretty low scoring game, in a game where the Packers defense can step up against a pretty pitiful offense for the Vikings. JJ McCarthy probably won't be that effective again this week. Matt LaFleur knows how to play these divisional opponents. He knows how to coach his team up. I think you end up seeing Micah Parsons go out there, have a pretty good game all by his lonesome, and hopefully they can get a takeaway, maybe 2 takeaways from JJ McCarthy and be a decent enough and viable enough streaming option. Not my favorite, probably just slightly below Baltimore, but still viable enough to stream in week 12. The next DST matchup I'm looking at is probably the best one on the week, if I'm being 100% honest with you. You're probably not able to stream them. They are rostered in 70-ish% of leagues out there, so they may not be available for your league. But if they are, it is the Seattle Seahawks going up against Tennessee Titans. Seahawks just lost, which, more fuel on the fire. Seahawks defense as a whole is top 5 to top 10 in pretty much every single category as far as defenses go in the NFL. They are not letting you run the football. Hey, guess what? Cam Ward, not that great when they can't run the football. It is going to set up where he is going to be in a blender. The Seahawks need to win this football game. They're going up against an inferior opponent. Sam Darnold is going to bounce back as well. This defense for the Titans is absolutely horrible. They're going to score a bajillion points on them. It should set up where they are up by so many points. They're able to get home, just bringing the front four of Seattle's defense, that they are going to be able to drop 7 in coverage, pick off Cam Ward probably 1 or 2 times. Who knows? One could be for a pick 6. They're going to get sacks. Like, this game is going to swing so hard for Seattle. It is probably, like I said, the best DST streaming option in week 12. They may not be available, but if they are, you absolutely got to make sure you're picking up Seattle and starting them for this coming week. So the next matchup I am looking at is the Browns going up against the Raiders. Unfortunately, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, this offense for the Raiders is not good. The front 5 for the Raiders, the offensive line is not good. The Browns pass attack. The Browns rush. The Browns front 4. Myles Garrett is a problem. Myles Garrett is going to single-handedly shut down the Raiders by my estimations. And even if he is not getting home with sacks, if he is drawing double or triple coverage or something gross and nasty, it is going to limit what the Raiders are going to be able to do on offense. I think this is a week where you're going to see Geno Smith regress again, back to what he's pretty much done in the season, turn the football over a couple of times, take a decent chunk of sacks. They're going to shut down Ashton Genty. This is a week where the Browns are this crazy team where their offense is horrible. This team is not that great, but their defense has made some teams look really, really bad. And this is a really bad offense. So this combination of bad offense and good enough defense and Myles Garrett, I think this is a week where they are going to end up being a top 5 DST streaming option in week 12. They are probably one of the best options to stream. They are a little bit below Seattle, obviously, because Seattle's defense has been consistently just beating on people. But I do think the Browns are live, are viable, are absolutely streamable, and they are a team that are not overly rostered. Obviously, they'd be great every week. Be oh, the Patriots or the Texans. But these are 2 defenses that are not available in 90% of leagues, so they're probably not available out there. If they are, pick them up, start them, but they're probably not available, so why am I talking about them all that much? The Browns are available. The Browns are going to dominate the Raiders. It is going to be a low-scoring game because the Browns can't score, the Raiders can't score. They're going to get shut down. I think the Browns are a great option to stream in week 12. Definitely an option that I would think would be a top 5, top 10 worst case scenario scoring defense this coming week. So I said I had 5 DSTs at the beginning of the video, but I guess I actually had 6. The last 2 are kind of spicy. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against Arizona Cardinals. This Jags defensive unit is actually pretty good. They're very inconsistent. It really comes down to their opponent. This is where it's kind of spicy because Jacoby Brissett has looked pretty good. Not every single series, not every single drive, but week in and week out, he is able to get it done in fantasy football. He's able to move the football on the field and score points. That is my only concern. The Jags defense, there are weeks where they are legitimately a top 5 DST. There are weeks where they are a bottom 5 DST. It is up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'm not 100% comfortable. I'm not 100% in love, but what I do know is the Jacksonville Jaguars defense any given week can pop off for 15, 16, 17 points, and it doesn't make me blink an eye. But then on the flip side, they could score 2 points or negative 2 points, and I don't blink an eye. It is up, down, roller coaster zone. So this comes down to your gut. This is why it is spicy. Do you believe this is another high week for the Jags, where they are going to beat down Jacoby Brissett, where they are going to realize that they are ahead of the Chiefs in the playoff race, that they have an opportunity to potentially, if the Colts lose to the Chiefs, catch up a little bit more in division and kind of solidify their playoff spot? Is this a week where the DST unit steps up for them, where their defense steps up, I guess, rather, and dominates against the Cardinals? If you think so, start the Jags. If you think, Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good on the season, and he's probably going to look good again, even though the Jags defense is pretty good, then it is not a week to stream them. So this comes down to a gut call. I like it on one hand, I hate it on the other. You got to make up your own mind, but they are a spicy option. The other spicy option, but I like it. I like it a little bit more than the Jags. It is the New Orleans Saints going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. is not playing. Kirk Cousins in his one game that he played so far this season, or I guess maybe he didn't actually start, but the game that he played a chunk of, he did not look very good. He was turning the football over again. He turned the football over a bajillion times last year. That is why he ended up getting benched at the end of the season. They were giving Michael Penix an opportunity to go out there and show what he could do. I do think that the Saints defense is like consistent. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's decent enough. They are keeping games close. They are keeping games low scoring. For the past 3 weeks, they are a top 10 as far as scoring points allowed to opposing offenses go for their defense. They're not really taking the football away because like they don't have anybody in their secondary. Secondary is pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. But what I do know is they have a decent enough pass rush. The Falcons offense as a whole has not been that great on the season. Drake London is going to be out by my estimations this week. So if Drake London plays, maybe not my favorite. But if Drake London is out, Michael Penix is out, this could be a week, like one of those weird weeks where this DST unit from the Saints actually pops off and is a top 7, top 8 scoring unit for DST in week 12. They are spicy. It is a crazy play because you're not thinking every week like, oh, the Saints, maybe the Saints. No, you're like, no, stay away. Stay away from the Saints DST unit. But this could be a week. If you are a Saints fan, I am talking to you. Roll the dice. If you don't have a better defensive unit, obviously. Roll the dice, pick up the Saints, hope and pray that this is right on my part. If I'm going 50-50, if I am like batting 500, hope that I am wrong on the Jags and I am right on the Saints. Like I said, I like them a little bit more than I like the Jags only because they have been consistent. There's not really been up down as far as like performance, maybe scoring, but not so much for like performance and effort. I do think it's a divisional game, so we are going to see the best performance we're going to see out of the Saints defense and Kellen Moore as like this team as a whole. I think because of the injury concerns for the Falcons, this is probably a week you can get away with starting and can hope for a top 10, top 7, top 8 week out of this DST unit from the Saints in week 12. Something I never thought I'd say. Hopefully this video helps you just a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025, which is obviously something I never thought I'd say, but here we are nonetheless. Hopefully this video helps you get just a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025. I know the waiver wire has already come and gone, but if you are in larger leagues specifically, I will have that video around here somewhere. Hopefully you will be able to find somebody on that video specifically for larger leagues who is still available and who is still viable, because if they're available, then they're going to be viable because they're in my video for the back half of the season going into the playoffs. And hopefully by the time the playoffs come, they will have their opportunity, they will have their shot, and they can actually help you win your fantasy football championship in 2025. So if you feel so inclined, go check out that video up here, down here, wherever it may be on the screen. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. No, hopefully you guys will see me again real soon. And until then, y'all have a blessed day. Bye.